At $390 so far, you absolutely do not need this much Marvel United. Now, I'm not saying don't get it. I certainly will be, but this is a luxury purchase to the nth degree. $390 of some of the lightest gameplay you have ever seen. That is completely forgetting any of the prior content from the original Marvel United whatsoever. This is just X-Men United, just for the accessories, the gameplay, the playmat, absolutely everything. Granted, you can get it cheaper if you're willing to pick and choose what you're willing to get. If you don't care about playmats, if you don't care about plastic tokens, if you don't care about cardboard locations or specific expansions, you can absolutely get it cheaper. But let's go over all this, because it's simultaneously incredibly exciting and yet incredibly expensive, and it's Marvel United. This is a light card game. I don't know how I can both be excited going all in, because I will be going all in, but also feeling like it's completely ridiculous, complete entitlement. At least I'm not into, $700,000 sports cars or $30,000 watches. That's how I go to sleep at night. I convince myself that I'm a rational human being. But Marvel United, X-Men, going through, this is the update video, timestamps down below to any relevant section. This is going to be covering all the stuff that is new, all the expansions, all the stretch goals. Now, for most of the stretch goals, I'm just going to skim through most of the things, because as much as I'd love to focus on every single hero and their ability, that would make for a very, very long video, plus enough mispronounced, butchered names that I'd probably have to apologize for it. So, I mean, I'll apologize anyway, but there'd be more apologies if I did a whole video on every single guy, because at the end of the day, Marvel United X-Men, I did a full show you back video on it already. This is more just covering all the updates and all that, but X-Men is a universe that I am less familiar with. Of course, I'm familiar with the core heroes and all that. I've read the comics at different points in my life. I've watched all the movies, but that only takes you so far when you're talking about a world full of an absolute ton of content. And the degree of my ignorance has definitely been magnified or illuminated as I went through this campaign, seeing more and more heroes that I just didn't know. I don't know Feral, I don't know Polaris, Strong Guy, Dazzler, Longshot, Boom Boom. I don't know any of these characters. Sunspot and Magic I've heard of, Firestar sure, Sunfire, Phoenix, Warpath I think I have, Wolfsbane no, Blink yes, Havoc no, Multiple Man no, Captain Britain, Phantom X no, Weapon X yes, Weapon X I do know, Pixie no, Dupe no, Warlock no, Mirage no, X-23 yes, Kitty Pryde yes, Lockheed no. I don't know half these people. Emma Frost yes, Legion actually yes, Namor yes, is it Namor? Is it Namor? I don't actually know. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of entertainment you can expect along with Magento. We have Spiral, never heard of Spiral, Deathbird no, Callisto no, Shadow King no. I am completely ignorant on so many of these goals, so many of the stretch goals. Arcade, Lady Deathstrike, Silver Samurai, actually Silver Samurai I do know, Sauron, I don't know Sauron. Isn't Sauron some sort of giant blinking eye of fire? What's he doing in X-Men? We have Omega Red, we have Brood Queen, we have Mojo. None of these characters do I know. Now, once you drill down to the actual expansions, the expansion content, the optional buys, that's where I do know a lot more of the characters. Now, I assume to some extent that that's intentional. I assume that the greater degree of familiarity will come where the dollar signs lie, because after all, that you have to get people to spend $390 on an over-the-top, amazingly fun, and yet incredibly light card-based system. And so, let's go through the extra optional buys and all of that. We went through the stretch goals to a degree. We have all this stuff over here. Let's start going through the optional buys and covering all the content. Starting first off with the one you won't have to pay any money for. This is kind of an add-on expansion, so it's really just a bunch of stretch goals, but packaged as an expansion. So let's go through it briefly, which is going to be the X-Force expansion. This is the expansion they gave as a stretch goal to help cross the number that was the original Marvel United campaign. They set a number in the sand. If we cross this point, and what was that number? The original Marvel United campaign. A very specific number, if I can find it here somewhere. A very specific number. It was somewhere here. I don't know exactly where. And we have Cannonball. We have Domino. We have more past that. We have Strife. We have more. Shatterstar. By the way, half of these I don't know. Then we have Cable. I do know Cable, but that's because Cable's in a movie. I knew Cable before the movie, but still, nonetheless. And then we have, that's the X-Force expansion. Now we have locations here. The X-Force adds 4 new locations that I actually appreciate. These are the kind of locations that add difficulty to the game in a way I appreciate. Again, lots of modules from Marvel United. This is just one that I appreciate. Now, these locations are going to be locations that when a hero ends their turn there, they have to do something bad as opposed to something good. Now, I like that as opposed to the default Marvel United scaling. The default Marvel United scaling in just the base game alone is taking away your wild cards from your hand, which I don't like that because I like doing fun things, and having it double wild in the card row lets me do fun things. I'd much rather do the fun thing, but then throw in 3 of those locations that will make me add bad things to the game. My preference in every game is never to take away the fun stuff, but rather to keep the fun stuff and also add the bad stuff so that the fun stuff is more challenging. I like the fun stuff, just give me the bad stuff too, make it all good. I should design games because that's my whole motto, whatever. Fun stuff, bad stuff, try to make them balance and add more fun stuff instead of taking away the fun stuff. That's all I want in a game. That's going to be those locations. I actually appreciate all those locations. You must discard an action. You must add you must add a civilian and a henchman to this location. I'll throw these in any game I need in order to balance out the difficulty, and I will do that 100 times over before I take out those wilds from the game. So I like seeing that. And again, the base Marvel United already has tons of this stuff. That's just one more. From there, we're going to have 3 accessories, non-gameplay expansions. Now, if you ditch these 3 accessories, coming in at $35, $40, and $20 together, that's $95. That's basically going to drop your $390 all-in to $295 all-in. Now, again, keep in mind, there will be actual all-in bundles available probably the day after this goes up. That's the way Command likes to do it. Maybe Monday, who knows? We'll see what happens. But effectively, and to be clear, not a guarantee, just if past history is anything to go by, you can expect to see all-in bundles, one for gameplay all-in and one for all-in is what I would assume. So you'll be a little cheaper, so if you dump all this stuff, maybe you're looking at the all-in gameplay to be maybe $265, $270, something along those lines. Still a ton of money, but at least not $390. That's what you can tell yourself as you hit back now on the credit card. Now the playmat, for one and for all, this is going to be a double-sided playmat, giving you the original playmat, this, and I think there are some changes here, I'm not certain, I haven't compared them, contrasted them, and then they're giving this yellow version with the other side. Now, I've seen a lot of people who don't love the yellow. What I'd recommend, honestly, too late, that I doubt they're going to make this change, but what I'd recommend is having their base side to be yellow and having the new side to be blue. That way people can at least feel like their original game mat that they bought, the original playmat, still has some degree of value because at least it's giving you the other side in an alternate color. So I think that would be the way to go if I were, in charge of this. But then again, I'm not, so I'll just hit back now and deal with it. That's going to be the playmat. Going on from there, we have the upgrade to plastic for $40. Now, to be fair, this is a bundle upgrade that is going to give you all the tokens you need for the original Marvel United as well as X-Men. So it's not purely $40 of X-Men United, but that said, if you want plastic tokens, you're still going to have to spend $40, even if you only care about X-Men United. But this will give you all the plastic tokens you need to upgrade all the bits across all the campaigns. Command and their plastic tokens are often a tough one because they have had some incredible plastic token packs that have definitely held their value, that people have wanted, people sought out, and then they've had some real duds that just weren't up to the quality they've had across the board. So if you get one of the bad plastic token packs, then it's a little tricky. But I would say not across the board, I would say more often than usual, you can expect to see them to be better as opposed to worse. So I mean, I'll probably end up getting this one, but this is one that I'm not sold on 100%. But if they look like this, then they'll be nice, but they do also make design choices after showing you the picture, so who knows there. From there, we have $20 for the cardboard locations. To me, this is an absolute must-buy. Now, I say to me, with the understanding that that's to me. Like, I know Tom basically gave away his cardboard locations to Roy or something like that because he didn't even want to bother using them. For myself, I cannot imagine playing with the flimsy little flimsy cardboard they have in the base game. It makes the game feel ridiculously cheap, and nothing personal, but if I'm going to spend way too much money on this game, I don't want it to feel cheap. And so for me, this is an absolute must-have, having the full heavier cardboard locations that give you a degree of heft to every single location. And as far as storage, well, storage is already a nightmare with the amount of stuff I have for this. I have it mostly condensed into 3 boxes, and it kind of works for what I'm doing. But yeah, for me, I absolutely recommend the cardboard locations. I can't imagine playing without them. But again, to each their own, and I know others don't feel as strongly about them. That's going to be $20 for the cardboard locations. And again, this is not covering anything to do with the original Marvel United. There's tons of stuff you can already buy. You can watch my Should You Back It for coverage of that. Effectively, it's all priced a little higher and still worth it, ultimately. Worth it is a relative term. I'm talking about the marketplace worth it as opposed to, are you going to spend that much money on this board game? Moving on, we have X-Men, the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. This is going to be the base pledge option, basically an extra $35 to get this expansion as opposed to the $65 base pledge. You're looking at $100 to get the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. The Horsemen of the Apocalypse is going to give you, well, Apocalypse and his 4 horsemen, as well as some optional, as well as some extra heroes or not heroes, as well as some extra villains, and yes, an extra hero as well. Now, this is going to be most similar, most akin to the Thanos expansion to the Infinity Gauntlet expansion from the original Marvel United, in the sense that you can face off against the Horsemen in different ways. Each horseman defeated will make Apocalypse stronger. You're going to be dealing against them. Now, it is going to be different than the original Thanos. The original Thanos had more of a sequential play to it in the way they played out. That Apocalypse is going to play out differently. And also, small update to this one, which is going to be that Apocalypse is now purple. He's now an anti-hero. You see, first he's red, then he's purple. And basically, if you've been following along with the with the comics, which I have not been, then effectively Apocalypse is now an actual hero helping out the X-Men. So they decided to turn him into an anti-hero and give him cards and abilities and all that, although supposedly his abilities seem to be not really actually team-based so much as just being powerful and playing his cards face down in a way that doesn't help the rest of the team. So a bit of a thematic twist to a hero that doesn't help others, which could be a good thing. I like the variety, but also might take away from some of the fun of, hey, you know, can you play down this card because I can utilize it? I like the teamwork aspect of Marvel United. I like working together with other heroes. I would be very reluctant to play Apocalypse in a two-player game, a two-player hero game. I'd want to at least be two-handing it or something like that, have more heroes at play, because that other one solitary hero, if he has to play along with Apocalypse and not getting stuff done together, that might just feel not as fun. And remember my whole stance on game design: more fun, more bad stuff, keep those things in check. Moving on from there, we have Marvel United First Class. This is going to be the first optional buy they released. And again, I think they have mostly the same as the original campaign in terms of the quantity of optional buys. Where they tricked you is they got 2-in-1 with the blue and gold expansions, 2-in-1 in one shot. So the original all-in had, I think, $200 worth of gameplay expansions, and this all-in has $230 worth of gameplay expansions. That's excluding the base pledge and all accessory-based expansions. But First Class is going to be the first one they released. And by the way, I don't expect any more, but I could be wrong, except for the all-in. And First Class is going to be the first one they released. This is one is mostly going to be just extra heroes and villains and whatnot, giving you Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, Beast. Now, I made a comment that I don't see Scarlet Witch as a villain because I've been watching the WandaVision or whatnot, and I saw a fair comment from someone, spoilers, so skip ahead like 30 seconds if you don't want the spoiler, but I saw a fair response from someone saying, oh, so you're saying that you don't see the person who kidnapped and held hostage an entire town against their free will as a villain? Good to know. And I thought that was a fair point. That's all I'm saying. I thought that was a reasonable point and a fair point, and I'm going to keep scrolling now. So we have, going up from there, we have the heroes. This is going to give you the First Class heroes. They're going to give you different abilities with a more raw form. I don't know what that means. I haven't gone through all and compared and contrasted with the base, but you know, different costumes, different outfits, different abilities. And again, my pet peeve with Marvel United has always been that the heroes don't feel as different as I would like. They can feel different at times, but not as different as I would like. I know that with Marvel United X-Men, they are changing that and adding more variety, more differences. Probably still not as much as I want, but more is always better in that sense. So, going from there, we have locations and we have a danger room. So the danger room is going to be the main mechanic difference that this expansion adds to the table, which is this singular danger room that does the opposite of those other locations. It makes the game easier for you, giving you a boost when you need it. If you're fighting against particularly challenging characters that you totally cheated against, such as like Hela or whatnot. But effectively, this is going to give you a location you can add to another location and then get a training card, which will be either one-time use abilities or permanent abilities that boost up your heroes. It's meant to be a boost to the various heroes, giving you, again, a little bit of extra edge you need against difficult situations, difficult heroes, difficult combinations, or just maybe you're playing with your kids and you're trying not to alpha gamer it and you need that little bit of boost in the game without having to be like, hey, if you could stop trying to like actually do that would be great, because you're totally messing up this game. I know it's supposed to be quality time together, but you're making it less fun for daddy, so please stop that. That's not how I play games with my kids. That would be horrific, but this could make it so you don't play games with your kids that way. Going on from there. So, we have next up, we have going to be the Gold versus Blue expansion. Now, I highly recommend watching both this video as well as Quacklope's full gameplay video, because this expansion, more than anything else you'll see in, well, all the expansions, is going to heavily mix up your experience, to the point that if you are someone who is budget conscious, if you are someone who is just sitting there trying to, like, you want in on this because you've heard so many good things, your friends are playing it, you know that the Walmart version is going to be like $25, but you're going to get nothing with it compared to the Kickstarter, then my recommendation would be to get the base core pledge, $65, plus one of these for $30. If you are looking to most mix up your experience, that would be my own personal recommendation. Again, though, based on my own preferences for what I'm looking for, so factor that in. But for $95, you'll get a solid game with tons of stretch goals, tons of extras, and then you can pick one of these expansions that give you the characters you want, and it'll give you that competitive gameplay experience, because the Gold versus Blue expansion, and it's really either or, you don't need both for this, but you can pick or choose, or you can of course get both anyway, is going to give you the gameplay components necessary to play this game game to play Marvel United as a two-player head-to-head experience. That's not true. Let me rephrase that. As a competitive head-to-head experience where two teams, and yes, it could be two-player, two teams are facing off trying to take down the villain as they slowly but surely get in each other's ways, occasionally hitting each other, knocking each other, bamming them down or whatnot. So it gives you a competitive version where you're still playing you're still playing a game against the board, but which team will win, so to speak, is which team will get them, take them down, all that. So it does give you a totally different gameplay experience, all for $30 extra. Which, if you wanted that non-competitive, non-cooperative mode from Marvel United, this is going to very much be that. And as far as the playmat, this is going to be an option. Keep in mind that the playmat over here is going to be very, well, not accommodating these locations and these cards. You could, of course, fit them on, but if you're looking for that additional sensitive to keep it budget conscious, then going for this base game plus this means that the playmat's not even worth it. Maybe the cardboard locations, but do you really want to pay $20 for a bunch of cardboard locations that you don't even have because you didn't get the rest of the expansions? So again, that would be my budget conscious pick. Base game, $65, one of these two $30 expansions, but past that, this has a lot of gameplay. This has a lot of ways to mix up the experience in terms of just totally changing how you've been playing Marvel United to date, and it's worth checking out. But past that, we have, Gambit, Jubilee, Mr. Sinister, Rogue, Psylocke, Banshee. You see, all these characters I know. These ones I don't feel so, ignorant about. I actually know these people. Moving on from there, we have, what's the next expansion? The next one's going to be, let's see if we can scroll down a little faster. Oopsie daisy. Okay. Nope. There we go. We have Sebastian Shaw, Archangels, Colossus, Iceman, Bishop, and Forge. Again, I know all these guys. This is why I need this one as opposed to the other. But anyways, that is going to be the two options for your $30 optional gold or blue expansion, or of course both. And Iceman, look at Iceman. That is cool. You gotta admit, that's a cool version of whatever they're doing here with the new plastics from Come On. Okay, we got 3 left. So, we have Phoenix 5. Phoenix 5 is going to be giving you, well, the Phoenix 5. Now, Phoenix 5 is going to be giving you gameplay content as well, in the sense that gameplay changes as well, in the sense that you're facing off against the Phoenix 5, and they will become more powerful as you defeat each one of them. So they're going to get both additional health, as well as abilities from the prior ones you defeated, making them stronger and stronger and stronger, and as well as the fact that you're mixing up the various challenges you're facing off against. So this will give you a campaign mode and a difficulty scaling, just getting progressively more difficult as you face off against, well, some of your prior allies in Phoenix 5. Looks like fun. Don't get me wrong. I don't know why I said don't get me wrong. It just looks like fun. But this is going to be more content for your Marvel United expansions. More Marvel United universe. Then we have Deadpool. Deadpool's going to be the silly one. This is one where, on the one hand, it's Deadpool. You may well want this one. On the other hand, you have to be okay with a degree of silliness in this expansion because they're going to be breaking the fourth wall, both in just thematic sense and as well as in the gameplay sense, mixing up an experience in a way that might be totally fine for you, or might not be. Now, for myself, I'm intrigued, but I'm also unsure. I will be getting it because it's Deadpool, and we have a Deadpool, anti-hero. We have Bob, Agent of Hydra. We have Deadpool as a villain. We have Deadpool as a hero, and I agree with most of the people who do not find the Deadpool hero sculpt that enticing. I do wish they would change it, but hey, I'll take what I can get, and I'll probably use the Deadpool villain even when I'm playing as the Deadpool hero. That will be confusing. Maybe I won't. We'll see what happens. But anyways, Deadpool playing against Deadpool as a villain is actually the part that I'm most intrigued. Oh yeah, and Lady Deadpool as well. Deadpool is going to be, well, both the anti-hero with the breaking the fourth wall cards, all that. And then from there, we're also going to have Deadpool as facing off against Deadpool as a villain, in which he's going to have his own particular challenge deck that involves you doing things you may not find particularly gameplay-ish. So stuff like, what do they have over here? They have over here, you may blow up, you may walk away. As you expect, you're going to have heroes get ready to yell when taking damage, or to avoid taking bathroom breaks, lest Deadpool takes you out. In other words, they're kind of breaking the gameplay experience and adding things that go past the core mechanics and in some way mess with your real-world experience, which could be incredibly funny and add to your experience. Or it might not be what you're looking for. Like, geez, could you stop going to the bathroom? This is the 4th time you've gone to the bathroom in 20 minutes. We've lost 4 games. If you could that's just me playing with my kid again. I'm really genuinely not like that. But anyways, that's going to be Deadpool and breaking the fourth wall. Something that might be right for you, but also might be a little messier. This is one I would caution you to look into to see if it's one that you're actually interested in versus just Deadpool, yay! Moving on, and lastly, we have X-Men Days of Future Past. X-Men Days of Future Past is going to be hard to resist because it gives you these guys. Let me just scroll down and show you a shot over here. So if we scroll down, we have this shot over here. And that's the relative size of these guys. Yes, you could actually hold heroes in their hands. It doesn't matter if I shouldn't get it. I'm probably going to get it. But anyways, X-Men Colossus is going to be giving you the Colossus as well as fighting off against Nimrod, and it's going to be giving you both. You could add the Colossus to regular gameplays as well, but the base idea over here is you're going to have the 3 Colossus over here, be facing off of those against those as Nimrod gets stronger or whatnot, and then slowly taking them out. You'll be able to deal damage to them right off the bat, which is a bit of a gameplay change there. They fit into this weird villain, but not villain mode. It's a little different, but it gives you a new way to play the game, new stuff, and of course, ridiculously over-the-top Colossuses that are way too large, but that's also why this expansion is $45. Similarly to Deadpool, I'd recommend thinking about this one from a stance of, do you want this one enough to pay $45 for potentially less gameplay content, more so than other expansions? You're very much paying for the plastic in this game. That's going to be basically it. That's going to be all the stuff for the Kickstarter for Marvel United. Most of these things are going to be Kickstarter exclusive. I believe they said basically all expansions. Let me just go through them quickly. We have Days of Future Past, it's Kickstarter exclusive. No, it actually looks like they're not tagged as Kickstarter exclusive. My bad. We have First Class will be, we have Phoenix 5 will be, Plastic Tokens, X-Men, but it looks like some of them are not. Now keep in mind that the original Marvel United said that they were going to have one Kickstarter exclusive expansion, the rest were going to be available or whatever later, but they weren't. Past like Spider-Man, most of them were not available later, so that may well happen here. I'd imagine they know a bit more about their plans, but also no guarantee. But not that said, they all come with a Kickstarter exclusive extra for those ones that aren't. So even Deadpool comes with a Kickstarter exclusive, Blue Team, Gold Team, they all come with an extra hero that is Kickstarter exclusive for, you know, basically giving you a reason to back that. Short notes on this one, because we've talked about it for a while. Same thing I said at the beginning. This is a lot of game, and it's not a lot of game, if that makes sense. It's a lot of money for a game that is giving you a ton of content, but not a ton of content that you need. It very much if you have this and you have an all-in on the original stuff, you're looking at like $650 worth of Marvel United. That is obscene. That is insanity. Now, it's still not up to Joan of Arc, but it's a whole lot less gameplay than Joan of Arc, or pick whatever system. It's less than Kingdom Death Monster, but it's a little bit less than the depth of Kingdom Death Monster. So it's a very different experience that you're jumping on board here, and it's one that you do not need all of it. If you can afford to get all of it and you're totally fine with it and you're great, fine, then go ahead. Like, I'm not telling you not to. Enjoy life. But make sure you can afford to do so. Make sure this makes sense as far as what you're paying here versus the literal, I mean, what, $650 for everything is at $50 a gameplay. Let's go to the high end. You're talking about like 13, 14 other solid games could be replacing this. And that's before we cover shipping. You know, round up to decently finding bargain stuff, whatever. You're talking about like 15 to 20 other games you could be getting instead of Marvel United. You don't need all of this. Will it hold its value? It will. It will. There's a lot of Kickstarter exclusive stuff here, and there's a lot of people who will want in on this. But you also don't need it. So pick and choose or get what you want. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying it is expensive. It's a lot of money for a lot of game. That said, also a fun game. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.